This week on KUJH, Kansas basketball heads to New Orleans to play in the Final Four.
Lawrence Public Schools tried to cut librarian jobs, and the community rallied against it.
And a pop-up exhibit outside Watson Library educates students about suicide.
Live from the studio in Stauffer Flint at the University of Kansas, you're watching KUJH News.
Welcome back to KUJH. I'm Anna Dennison.
And I'm Melissa Wingo. Kansas men's basketball will play in the Final Four this Saturday after a 26-point win against the 10th seed Miami Hurricanes this past Sunday.
Despite trailing by 6 points at halftime, the Jayhawks held Miami to just 15 points in the second half, while KU's offense came alive with Ochai Agbaji leading the team with 18 points. Kansas will play second seed Villanova on Saturday as coach Bill Self aims to cement KU's place amongst the greatest teams in college basketball with his second national championship with the Jayhawks.
We can stack up against anybody in any particular area, but when you talk about total number of national championships, we're behind obviously some of the other blue bloods that we can compete with.
Since this is not the first time the KU men's basketball team has made the Final Four, the Lawrence Police Department is prepared for this weekend's anticipated celebrations. In talks with the city and community stakeholders, Lawrence Police have a master plan on how to manage the large crowds. They have also given information to businesses about navigating the madness. But police say things went pretty smooth last Sunday when fans stormed Mass Street and that it was a good time.
The crowd downtown was one of the largest Elite Eight crowds that we've had that I can remember. Everybody was very well behaved. There was no incidents. We didn't take any police reports from that. Nobody was arrested.
A series of streets will be closed on Saturday and potentially Monday. For more information, head to our website at tv.ku.edu.
Meanwhile, the Lawrence Public School District still needs to cut its budget. The school board planned to cut librarian jobs to save money, but the community stepped in.
That's right. Let's send it over to Sarah McDonough. Sarah, you attended the rally on Monday. What were people's reactions to the possible cuts?
Thanks, Alyssa. People were definitely not happy with that announcement. Local organization Save Our Schools USD 497 gathered at the Lawrence School District office Monday in support of those librarians who could potentially lose their jobs to the proposed budget cuts. I had the opportunity to go down to the rally on Monday and speak with organizers about the importance of their message.
When public education is under attack, what do? Stand up and act!
Those were some of the chants that organizers at the Save Our Schools rally chanted Monday. An organization founded by Lawrence School District parents earlier this year, they weren't stopping at the possibility of school closures.
Tonight we're kind of coming together to ask that they don't make such a deep cut to our library programs across the district.
Many different community members came out to the rally in support of librarians, from parents to teachers to students, and even some furry friends.
I think that rallies are really important just to kind of create that sense of community, that sense of coming together and knowing that you're not alone.
And that is exactly what the rally did.
It's just the show of support and solidarity, not just the librarians here, but also the classified staff.
And they want the district to know they won't be going anywhere.
The Save Our Schools organization in general will be here for the long term.
When do we want it? Now! When do we want justice? When do we want it? Now!
The rally had a pretty successful turnout and many organizers stayed to attend the school board meeting. Now I'll send it back to Alyssa, who will take you a bit deeper into what the budget cuts mean for the Lawrence School District.
Thanks, Sarah. School librarians are taking a sigh of relief after the district decided to keep a majority of their positions amid those large budget cuts taking place. I spoke with Free State High School librarian Marissa Hegeman, who says this was the best scenario they could have asked for.
Free State High School librarian Marissa Hegeman was shocked to learn last Wednesday that the district planned to cut 12 of the 18 total librarian positions and replace them with library media assistants, who Hegeman says are not adequately trained for the role.
So that was really unfair, mind-blowing to ask classified employees to take on that much responsibility at that low of pay without the qualifications.
But after pushback and a rally in support of the librarians, a counterproposal was accepted by the district Monday that will allow them to keep 16 of those positions.
I definitely think, as a nerdy librarian, knowledge is power. And so once the community understood what was at risk, I think that was a huge part of why libraries were saved. We had a lot of advocates, both colleagues and students and community members rally around us.
Hegeman said she hopes that libraries continue to receive the same amount of support going forward.
While the board's decision was ultimately made in their favor, Douglas County librarians are asking for more transparency and communication from the district when making cuts in the future.
There were some severe thunderstorms throughout Lawrence last night that brought some pretty heavy rain.
That's right. Erin Borchers is here with a weather update. Erin?
So after all the severe storms that we had last night, we're sitting at about 45 degrees and it's overcast and breezy outside. The winds are staying fairly strong, right around 21 miles per hour out of the northwest. And as you can see with some of that overhead satellite visual, we have some heavy cloud cover still. We didn't have any tornadoes in our area, but we did have some lightning and hail in our area and some strong winds, of course. Now the real question is, with all the clouds hanging around, are we in for more storms? And you'll have to stay tuned for the rest of my forecast to find out. Back to you, Anna and Alyssa.
Thanks, Erin. Hopefully that weather will be a little bit better next weekend for the Final Four game. Coming up on KUJH, 1,000 backpacks were laid outside Watson Library yesterday. Find out after the break. Welcome back to KUJH. There was a meaningful display on Watson Library's lawn yesterday that Anna was able to check out.
That's right. Yesterday, Active Minds and KU Center for Community Outreach partnered to put on Send Silence Packing, a display of backpacks, some with personal tributes to loved ones lost to suicide. I talked to Outreach Center directors about why the event is so important. 1,000 backpacks scattered on the ground. 250 of them include stories from people personally affected by suicide. The gallery is here for students to learn about suicide's impact and how everyday actions can help to create a better culture around mental health.
Send Silence Packing is an all-day display kind of designed to bring awareness to suicide prevention and to connect not only individuals that attend the display to mental health resources, but to also inspire action to take towards bettering mental health both on and off campus.
A goal behind the event is to fight the stigma that comes with discussing mental health.
The more we talk about it, the less it's kind of like awkward and weird to talk about it, especially when it comes to a topic such as suicide.
The event also hopes to bring awareness to resources on campus.
At KU, there's just so many different types of resources that are meant to help you. Like, there's so many different things available out there. Just literally whatever you need, just be willing and have that, which is really, it's easier. It's a lot easier said than done, but to have that open mind to let people in.
The Center of Community Outreach encourages those interested in mental health work to get involved in KU's programming. To access the mental health resources that KU provides, go to cco.ku.edu and look under the Programs tab.
The Douglas County Sheriff's Department is making a contribution to the crisis in Ukraine. Lily O'Shea Becker gives us an insight on how it's making an impact on those affected by the invasion.
As many Americans are feeling helpless in regards to the Russian invasion of Ukraine, it may be promising to know that just last week in Lawrence, the Douglas County Sheriff's Department donated 20 ballistic vests just like this to Ukraine.
After the National Guard reached out to Kansas law enforcement agencies in an effort to help Ukraine fight the Russian invasion, the Douglas County Sheriff's Department donated an initial amount of 20 expired ballistic vests.
When we all of us, The sheriff's office and everybody else in general felt completely helpless with this whole thing unfolding in Ukraine. And frankly, it didn't really matter what it was an opportunity for us to help. We were going to do it.
Sheriff Jay Armbrister said once the word spread, other law enforcement agencies in the area, including the Overland Park Police Department, reached out and offered to donate their expired vests as well.
I've had retired police officers and retired fire investigators contact the office saying, hey, I've got an old vest, I'd love to give it, so we're having them drop it off. I just found one of my old vests.
Sheriff Armbrister estimated that they gathered an additional 20 to 30 expired vests from retired officers and other agencies. Due to the fact that they are expired vests, law enforcement agencies cannot use them, yet the vest still offers some sort of protection. The vest will be sent to the California National Guard, whose sister nation is Ukraine, through the National Guard State Partnership for Peace program. The program builds relations between states and partnering nations in an effort to boost global security. This has been Lily O'Shea Becker with KUJH News.
This is just one of the many ways we've seen people trying to assist those in Ukraine within the last few weeks.
Coming up, Aaron Borchers tells us what weather we can expect for the rest of the week.
And will we get some sunshine for KU's Final Four appearance? Find out after the break.
From adversity, we rose. We made history and became pioneers, voyagers, champions, Jayhawks. And when our chant rises, haunting and hallowed, Jayhawks are telling the world what's near. Victory.
Welcome back to KUJH.
Next, we'll take it to Aaron Borchers for this week's weather. Anna, did you know that there's snow in the forecast for tomorrow?
I didn't. I was told that spring had officially sprung, but I think whoever told me that spoke too soon. Aaron, is that true?
Well, spring is still technically here, but we do have a chance for some flurries tonight and into tomorrow morning. Thankfully, this weekend looks like there's going to be some nice weather for the basketball games, but next week again brings more rain chances, which is just, along with what we expect for spring. So in the region right now, we're all sitting at about nice lower 40s, which is quite a difference from the nearly 80-degree weather that we had yesterday. The winds are staying strong in the region, all coming out of the northwest, really. Topeka's at 20 miles per hour, Leavenworth also at 20 miles per hour. And we are just seeing more of that remnant storm system that hit us last night. If you can take a look real quick on the visual radar, all of the storms that hit our area are actually up a bit north and east, and the rest of the storms that are building for tonight's severe weather is right down here in the straight line, and you can see it even more clearly on this visual radar. So the rain that hit us is now further on past us. We do have another chance of rain that's gonna pop in, but if you want to watch some more severe weather, I would suggest keeping an eye on the south as those thunderstorms start to intensify overnight. So for our Lawrence area, overnight we are going to see some lowering temperatures, some calming winds, and again, those rain chances are going to pop up because we are not done with this rainy weather just yet. So with this futurecast, I wanted to point out specifically, here's again the giant storm system that's kind of moving our way. And there, right there, as it's moving our way, is our chance for some rain and some flurries early Thursday morning. And it's going to come right through our area and then leave again, leaving us, thankfully, with some nice weather once we get out of these overcast skies. So tomorrow afternoon, hopefully will be a bit sunnier with some calmer winds. And that'll lead us into a really nice weekend for the most part. I do see a chance for some more rain on Saturday morning early, but Saturday day and Sunday are going to be partly cloudy, lower 60s. And then again, we have some rain chances coming up Monday, Tuesday, but hopefully a little bit more sunshine for next week. And that is my weather update. Back to you, Anna and Alyssa.
Thanks, Aaron.
After the break, we will bring you more coverage on the Jayhawks heading into the Final Four. All that and more when we come back.
Where you go to college makes a statement about you. This place will become a part of you, your identity for life. the University of Kansas. A great place to be you.
Welcome back to KUJH.
The Jayhawks won their Elite 8 game last Sunday in a huge win for KU, and there were plenty of fans ready to celebrate. Sam, what do you have for us?
Well, Anna, with the Final Four coming up, today we are chock full of basketball content, but first, let's start with the Jayhawks' return home from their Elite 8 win. Kansas basketball punched its ticket to the Final Four on Sunday, defeating Miami 76-50. While KU was cutting down the nets in Chicago, Massachusetts Street in downtown Lawrence was packed with fans celebrating the Jayhawks' first Final Four appearance since 2018. The celebration on Mass Street eventually moved inside Allen Fieldhouse as the Jayhawks were welcomed home from Chicago. Thousands of fans were in the building, and I caught up with a couple of them to see how they were feeling after the win.
1,000,000%, 100%.
Trillion.
Better than
Hawks by a trillion.
Hawks by a trillion every time.
All the way.
I feel great. I
Remergy.
feel great.
Remergy.
But hey, job's not finished.
Job's not. Is the job finished?
Is the job finished? 2 games.
KU will face Villanova on Saturday for a chance to advance to the national championship game on Monday. As those two fans alluded to, Remy Martin has picked up a new nickname for his impressive play this postseason. Caroline Soro looked at the point guard's impact on the team's success in the tournament.
The term Remergy describes the instant spark Remy Martin provides when he steps on the court. Coach Bill Self says Martin's performance in March has been a pleasant surprise.
I think Remy and his core always knew what he was capable to do to help us, but we haven't really seen it yet because his health hasn't allowed it. And I think that our guys have more of a swagger now, knowing what Remy can do to make us better.
Martin has been the X factor for Kansas in the postseason this year, and he put up a Kansas career high 23 points in the Jayhawks' victory over Providence. The Jayhawks just knocked off Miami 76-50 and are advancing to the Final Four for the first time since 2018.
Martin has been vital to Kansas's postseason run, but he credits his teammates with his success.
My teammates, man, it's really my teammates and coaches, man, just sticking with me through ups and downs and, you know, just instilling more confidence in me.
Martin earned the Midwest region's Most Outstanding Player award for his play in the NCAA tournament and made the all-tournament team.
I didn't really know that I won, really, when they said my name. I didn't know that's what it was for, but man, I have the greatest teammates around me, greatest coaches, and I mean, what more can I ask for?
Here with Andrew Lind. Well, Andrew, KU has certainly been given a huge boost this postseason from Remy Martin, but will that allow the Jayhawks to cut down the nets on Monday? Let's kind of talk about our Final Four picks a little bit, starting off with the first ever NCAA tournament game between North Carolina and Duke, also while in Coach K's final season. Quite the storylines, but I'll tell you what, North Carolina, they may have the best guard in the tournament right now in Caleb Love. He's making shots from the outside, and then the 1-2 combo of Brady Manick and Armando Bacot are just deadly inside, and Brady Manick was a huge part in North Carolina defeating Baylor to get to this point. He was a #1 seed. So I'm going to take UNC to defeat Duke and get to that national championship game.
Not a bad point, Sam. Brady Manick and Carolina, like you said, have been quite the both talent and experience this year. And Bill Self talks about how that duo is what leads teams to victory. He said that about KU and how they both have talent and experience themselves. But I just don't think that North Carolina is going to be able to beat Duke twice in a row. They beat them in Cameron Indoor, Coach K's last home game. But Mark Williams and a talented freshman crew who can both play good offense and defense, I think they're just going to play on Monday night.
Of course. And then after that, you have the KU and Villanova game. Personally, with KU kind of losing Villanova losing their second leading scorer and Justin Moore, it's going to be a little hard for Villanova to get past the Jayhawks, especially since they don't have a lot of depth. I believe they only play 7 players. So I'm going to have to take the Kansas Jayhawks to advance to the championship game against North Carolina.
Obviously, we're a little biased as student journalists at KU, so I got to take KU as well. As we saw against Miami, David McCormick kind of got out of his shell a little bit. All this whole season, it's been an on night and an off night. Bill Self always talks about, hey, if Big Dave can give me 20 and 10, we're going to be all right. Didn't get 20 and 10 out of him against Miami. It said you got 15 and 4, but him in double digits sealed the deal for KU. I thought he came out with a 7-0 run of his own in the second half, getting KU up one. I think it was maybe 36-35 after being down 6 at half. But if he can aid Remy Martin, who was the Midwest Regional MVP, and Ochai Agbaji, who kind of, again, stepped out of his shell for what some said he was in a little bit of an offensive slump, that three-headed monster, Remy, Dave, Ochai, will be hard to beat against Villanova. So, as Sam said, we both got KU, and for me, a KU Duke National Championship, what gets better than that?
Yeah, exactly. And there you basically have it. For our national championship picks, make sure to head to Twitter. Andrew and I will have coverage from New Orleans all weekend. Now back to you, Anna and Alyssa.
Thanks, Sam and Andrew.
Coming up on KUJH, what you should know about this year's upcoming powwow.
Find out more after the break.
You may not hear it at first, but it's there. Our chant, rising. On this summit, callings converge, voices unify into a chorus that sounds out for good, for greatness. Can you hear it?
Welcome back to KUJH.
This week for KUJH's Indigenous special guest, we have KU's Lori Hasselman giving us details about what to look forward to at this year's powwow.
This is Lori's first year here at KU, originating from the Shawnee and Delaware tribes of Oklahoma.
I did in the past volunteer at the powwow with some of the children's activities and some other things, and of course attended and ate fry bread, but other than that, this is kind of my first go run.
Lori has experienced powwows back home with her people at Haskell and at KU.
For me, it's always the grand entry. The grand entry is always really emotional, and it just feels really good to be with your people. It's kind of like a family reunion in a lot of respects.
Not only can folks look forward to the grand entry, but also a large assortment of events such as the Powwow 101 workshop and Indian Education 101 with Alex Redcorn, each educating the general public on the correct powwow etiquette, history, and terminology.
And so in order to get to what's really important, you kind of have to sift through all those things first.
KU alumni Robert Hicks Jr. will be screening his film, Relocation of Notsky. Following Hicks is Dr. Tresna Milk, a former Haskell professor who has done extensive research on Indigenous boarding schools.
Share some of those moments with our allies and hopefully be able to connect with the greater Lawrence community, share in some of our culture, and hopefully provide a little bit of education and awareness around some of the issues that Indigenous people face.
The public can enjoy all this and more at the festival on April 9th.
Thank you for watching KUJH. Tune in next week at 4 p.m.
For more coverage, be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter and visit our website at tv.ku.edu.
Have a good evening.